Can you imagine paying $700 to watch a group stages game while you're sitting up there where you can't even... Yesterday, while I was watching Arsenal versus PSG for the Champions League finals, I was watching in Baltimore. There was this other guy besides me at the bar. He kindly asked, he was like, "Are you a soccer fan?" And I said that, yeah, I've been supporting soccer for more than 20 years. I've been a Manchester United fan for more than 20 years. And then he asked me if I was excited about the World Cup, and I said, sure, I am. He went ahead and said, they always say that the World Cup is bigger than the Super Bowl. But if it was that big, why isn't there any hype in the US about the World Cup since it's starting in like 2 weeks? Yet, whenever there's a Super Bowl coming, there's a hype for months. And I mean, his question was valid because when you think about it, like right now, the World Cup should be starting in 2 weeks, but no one, besides those few football fans in the US, like literally no one is talking about the World Cup. There's multiple reasons for that to happen. And one of the reasons is because current political situation in the US, which is not friendly to foreigners, whether you're coming to stay or maybe whether you're just a tourist. So most of the policies and what people see on the news kind of deters away the potential target that would come from overseas to come and watch the games. One reason, look at it like this. The US is like 4% of the global population. So just because the biggest sport in the world is not hyped by 4% of the global population, while the 96% of the world population are excited to watch the sport, that doesn't make it a dead sport. Just imagine if the NBA final or maybe the Super Bowl were played in Belgium, in Brussels, Belgium. They wouldn't have the same hype in Belgium, or they wouldn't even have any hype at all if they were played in Belgium as they would be if they were played in the US, maybe in Vegas, California, or maybe Massachusetts. So that's another point, is like the US is not so into soccer, so it's not like an American sport like you see baseball, the NFL, basketball. That's why I think that here in the US, people are not so hyped about the World Cup like they are outside the country. So those are 2 points. Like, one, football is not an American sport, so 96% of the world is excited about the World Cup, while 4% of the world population living in the US is not really so much into the World Cup. And then another point is because of the capitalism in America. Like, everyone knows how capitalism in America is. Like for instance, the average ticket for group stage games is like $700. Can you imagine paying $700 to watch a group stages game while you're sitting up there where you can't even read the names on the player shirts? Because of how tickets have been overpriced, especially by reselling sites, people have opted to watch the games on TV. And because of that, that means that even those that would have traveled from Europe, Africa, Asia, South America to come and watch the game would rather stay home and watch the game on TV because it's so overpriced. Just imagine a train from Penn Station to MetLife Stadium is always like $12. But because of the World Cup and because of American capitalism, that train is going to be $100 or even $150. Like I said, the average ticket for a group stage game is like $700. But $700 was enough to watch a final in Qatar in 2022 in a good seat, and like the atmosphere was great. So that's one of the reasons why the game is not like so hyped like maybe people expected. Lastly, the sport has been growing, especially of recent years when Messi came to Inter Miami. Because of Messi, there was like a great, great coverage and attention for the MLS. Tell us in the comment section, do you think that in the coming 2 weeks, by the time the first game is played, the hype will have caught up in the US. What do you think? Do you think that anything will change before the first game is played on the 11th of June? Tell us what you think.